Hello everyone and welcome again to another lesson on CSS playlist. In this particular lesson we want to look at the CSS float property. The CSS float property specifies how an element should float within its container. And we can have two values for the float, so the element can float to the right or the element can float to the left. Without further ado, let's get started to see how we can demonstrate the concept of the CSS float. So I'm going over to my Visual Studio right here, and within our code right here, I'm going to add a line break below this. I'm going to add another line break, so you have two line breaks, and then right below here I'm going to add one div element, and this div element I'm going to give it an ID, and the ID name is going to be div1. And then within the div1 I'm going to add an image, and for now let me add this image right here called logo. So I'm going to add an image log. I'm going to specify the src, and it's going to be logo.jpg. I'm going to add the alternative text and I say logo here. I'm going to add the width of the image, so let me put it at 200 pixels. I'm also going to add the height of the image, make it also to 200 pixels so that we have a square image. And then below this image I'm going to add some text describing this image. So maybe I can say this is my brand logo image, and because for now I don't have much content to add, I'm just going to repeat the same line. I add a break and then repeat the same line for the demonstration purpose. So now within this div I have an image and some text around that image. Now I'm going to save that, and I'm going to select this div1 within my CSS section. So I'm going within the head section where I have my CSS, and I'm going to, within the styles, I'm going to select that particular ID called div1. I'm going to use hash because it's an ID, and then I'm going to give it a display of flex. So now it becomes a flex container, and now when you go to this you're going to see now that we have this image displayed with this text. So we have the image on the right, on the left, and then we have the text on the right. If we don't specify any display property, so it is going to be by default. So let's give it a default value and see how it displays. So you're going to see that we have an image, and then after the image is displayed we're going to have some text, and then after the text is displayed it continues to display. So let me increase the image height so that you can see. So I'm going within the image right here, and I'm going to increase even the height to 400 or maybe 300 pixels, and now you're going to see that we have that image right here. Now what I want us to achieve is that I want this image to be aligned on the right or on the left of this text. So I'm going to give it a display value, not even a display, but I'm going to give it a float instead. So I'm coming within my CSS and I'm going to select an image, and I'm going to give it a float value, and the float value I can say float to the right of the text. And now you're going to see that the image appears on the right while the text appears on the left. If I give it the value left, you're going to see that now we have the image on the left and the text aligned on the right. So that's what we mean by the CSS float value. It is used to align the element within the container to either float to the right side of the container or to the left side of the container. The container in this case is our diff1. So when you come to the diff1 right below here, this is the diff1 container, and within this we have the image and we have the text. So we have said that the image will be aligned to the right within this container and the text to the left, and vice versa. So that's all about the CSS float property. In our next lesson, we're going to look at the concept of the CSS navigation bars. Otherwise, thank you for joining this class and see you in our next video.